Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast. And here's your host, John Chapman.
What is going on, faithful? It is Sunday, and we are a little bit later than we have been most of the year. A lot of that's just because of the Warriors game. Definitely didn't want to compete with that. That was an absolute blast of a game. I'm not a Warriors guy, I'm a Mavs guy, but heck of a game. I'm pulling for the Warriors to win, but it was fun. Anyway, Sundays are for football and basketball sometimes. I wanted to, man, we've had so many guests on the show, which is a wonderful thing that, I want to, I have questions that come from Patreon and email and Twitter and all these places that I keep saved. And I do a bunch of research like at night or early whenever I can't record. And man, those questions just kept building up. So we've got a lot to get to today, and it's going to be fun. If you guys have questions or comments, throw those in the chat as well. Love all of the hashtag CCs. You guys are incredible. Just keep building this community, man. That's what it's about. And I do want to say, I had a guest on the show the other day, and it just didn't feel right, but I would be remiss if I didn't say, man, shout out to the legendary Dave Wilcox, who passed away. Amazing man, amazing community member, built, what the 49ers stand for, just legit. Hall of Famer. It's never a good thing when people pass, for sure, but to remember the greatness and, just want to send out a lot of love to the community and the people who had him, in their lives. He was incredible. I went back and just started looking into his career, which I knew a little bit about. He was a stud. One of my favorite, little trivia nuggets about Dave Wilcox, he was drafted not once, but twice. This was before the merger. He was drafted 29th by the 49ers in the NFL, and he was drafted number 46 in the AFL by the Houston Oilers. And this was back in 1964. Just how cool is that, right? It's really, really cool. 7 Pro Bowls, 2 All-Pros, 11 seasons, all with the Niners. They don't make these guys anymore. And again, one of the coolest things I've found about him, 153 games, missed 1 game his entire career. 11 years, 153 games, missed 1 game. Missed 1 game. They don't make them like that. So shout out to Dave. He will be missed. And to those that knew him, sending you all the support that we possibly can. Love this. Melissa, appreciate you. Said, let's go, John. 49ers rush time. Sid getting in there with the hashtag CCs again. I love this. This is awesome, man. The trade is bumping. And so great news. Great news. So here we go. Let's dive in. Shout out to my man Ishmael with the first question up on the board. He says, if you could pick one player from the table for the 40 or to pound the table on for the 49ers to draft, who would that be? Josh puts a similar question up there as well. Who is your draft crush? Throw this up in the chat. I want to see your answers. Who's that one guy that you're just like, man, I really want the Niners to get this player, right? I went with 2 answers, and I think you guys are going to be a little bit shocked by one of these answers. If the Niners don't trade, okay, because I always got to give more than is asked for, right? If the Niners do not trade, and I think this is probably where I disagree with my good friend Wayne Breezy a little bit. He was talking about the first 3 positions the Niners should draft. You had 3 picks in that 3rd round. He said defensive edge, offensive tackle, and safety. I agree with them on 2 of those. I agree with edge. I agree with offensive tackle. But I'm going to switch it up slightly from what Wayne said. Not that he's wrong, just different opinions. I'm going to go with the corner. Jacorian Bennett. The more I watch, the more I read, the more I just freaking dive into this guy, I just fall more in love with him. It's weird grown men say that. That's okay. I love his tape. I love his personality. I love what he brings. He's just awesome. So if we do not trade up, that's who I'm going with. Cornerback, Maryland, Jacorian Bennett. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. Yeah. Look at the mosquito killer. What's up, man? Dude, I love that picture. That picture of you and your dad. Was that at our party? I think it might have been. We got to hang out on the East Coast last year. Seeing Strange. Man, I am seeing mock drafts and big boards. Strange is going in the second round. I don't know if he will be there. Isaiah McGuire, I think he's a perfect fit. Payne Durham and Yaya. Whew, that's hot. That's hot right there. Oh, look at this. Josh, Jonathan Andrell Mingo and Gervais Owens. Yeah, he's big on Owens. I like that. I love that. Yeah, Darnell Washington's draft reach. You know, David says it's his favorite, but there's no way. There's so many great guys in this draft. And it's like this every year, but you can't get some of them. You just can't. It's what it is. One of the 300 guys JC has mentioned. I love it. What's up, Paul? Looking forward to watching this back tomorrow. It's after midnight. Man, go get some sleep, Paul. We love you. You're the man. You know that. Oscar joined in the chat. What's up, buddy? Brian, the man. Oh, I want to say this. Want to tease this a little bit. Two things about the man, Brian Carter. If you haven't checked out his podcast yet, Brian Carter 99, type it in. Dude's put out like 10 podcasts the past week. It just deep dive. If you are I want to know more about deep prospects, Brian Carter's your guy. So one thing, go check out his podcast. Number two, he is sending over all of his kind of rough notes on all these prospects, and we're going to be sharing that with our Patreon members. Just throwing that out there, just another perspective, another eye. It's good to get different opinions on certain ones. We agree on most, but obviously not all. We're going to be sharing that with our Patreon members. And three, he's going to be joining us day 2 on our live feed, which I wasn't planning on pumping this yet, but live feeds are up, baby, for day 1. You can check that out. Again, if you are on our YouTube, if you click to our page, just 49ers, we're starting 10 minutes before the draft. So we will be live the entire day 1 of the draft for round 1. We're starting at 4:50 p.m. PST. You're going to watch it live with us. It's going to be me, Wayne, and my man Charles. And then day 2, we're going to be live again, and that's when we get the Niners' actual picks. We're going to have a lot of people cycling through. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, we start Friday at 3:50 p.m. So those are those times. They're up on YouTube. So go hit that notification bell so that you can remember. Turn it on your TV, NFL Network or ESPN. Mute it. Turn us on. Interact with us. Get a Niners focus, Niners themed, NFC West themed. That's what we're going to be talking about. Because let's be honest, some of the things don't really apply to the Niners. It's going to be very Niners centric. That's where we're going to get. So anyway, let's see here. Going through just a couple more. Now, Brian's podcast is Brian Carter 99. It's a 49ers podcast, draft podcast. Go check that out, David. It's really, really good work. Really, really good work. So back to this. Ooh, look at this shot. Jay says Charlie Jones is probably a draft crush of mine too. I love Charlie Jones. I was on a fantasy, I don't remember the name of it. Oops. Fantasy podcast just about Charlie Jones. I love that dude. Darius Rush. There we go. Good stuff here. Good stuff here. So if we stay put, I'm going Jacorian Bennett. If we trade up, I want edge Derek Hall. That's the guy I want, the edge rusher. There's some tackles in there too, but man, I love me some Derek Hall. He's a beast. Sid says, I love Brian's pod. You get the stamp of approval. There you go. Here we go. I love the BOT. I'm going to mess up the name of that. I don't want to mispronounce it. He says, why is nobody talking about Zach Harrison? Obviously a project, but upside is so huge. Would love to take him early on to the edge. He fits. He talks about Ocean Mathis as well. So we've got a Ohio State guy. We've got a Nebraska guy. They're studs. I did not enjoy near as much the tape of Zach Harrison as I thought I would. I do agree with you that he is a hell of a prospect. He's 21 years old, 6'5", 274, wingspan's elite, strength's elite. So if you want, I have a 5th round grade on him. I think he's going to go earlier than that because there's so many traits heavy teams. He checks all the boxes off. The film was where my problem was. That's just where I don't know. But he's going to get drafted. The numbers are great. Numbers are great. So a lot of people like him more than I do. You're drafting what he could be. 21. He's got the traits. He's got the build. He's got the explosiveness. His bend, I didn't see. His hands were some of the worst hands I've seen. But, man, he is a great, great player. Just what's he going to do? Now, the good thing with him, 6'5", 274, if he proves he cannot pass rush, right? So let's say he fails at pass rushing. You bulk him up, you add 15 pounds. Now you got a solid 4-eye or 3 technique, and you're fine. So whether or not Zach Harrison's going to be a stud at the next level, I don't really care about that. This dude's going to be in the league for a long time, and you can do a lot worse. So 5th round, I'd be very, very happy there. No problem with that whatsoever. Now, I see how you guys are predicting your stuff, and I love it. Now, there's a big difference between who you really want the Niners to get and who you think the Niners are going to get. And so we did our yearly prediction, our challenge, our draft challenge. It's up on Patreon. And we are giving away an autographed Brandon Ayuk jersey. All you got to do, everybody gets 5 guesses, 5 players that you think the 49ers are going to pick. Whoever gets the most wins a Brandon Ayuk jersey. So if you want to take part in that, all Patreon members are included. All you got to do is head over to our Patreon page. You can sign up and compete. We even got a free trial right now. So if you want to head over there, do your 7-day free trial, put your guess in, have a chance to win, and we can see it there. So autographed Brandon Ayuk jersey up for competition for Patreon members only. Now, I will say this, Patreon, that's how I feed my family. We do so much free content over here. We do a lot over there as well. And on top of that, not only do we have the competition for the Brandon Ayuk jersey, Sunday after the draft is over, I don't know the time that I'm going to be able to set this yet. We're going to do our Zoom hangout. So where we just open it up, everybody comes and hangs out for 30 minutes to an hour. I hear from you. You let out some of your frustrations, things you're excited about. That's going to be Sunday night. Probably need to 0 at a time. Need to talk to the wifey and figure that out. So we'll get that. We'll get that. Here we go. Logan says, hey, Chapman, why do you like Tank Dell so much? The film. You're not going to find more fun film. And you're not going to find him. I get Houston doesn't play Murderer's Row, but you watch him against USC. You watch him in the Senior Bowl. You watch him against elite corners that have been drafted or going to be drafted. Eats them all alive. The film. Mighty Mouse. Love that dude. But a lot of teams, and Shanahan could be one of them, Juke Joint says this, Tank Dell is a no for me. And I get it. He's small. But in today's NFL, it's a little different. And the dude is tough. So trade up for Mingo, says Philip. Oh, Philip, I got a question. I like that. And I've seen Mingo going in the first round of some mock drafts. I think Peter Schrager of NFL Network put him there. So yeah. We're in that time of the year, baby, where there's guys that we love, but they kind of fall down. Ice Cream Judas, he's a fun Twitter follow. If you could choose the tight end the Niners take in the draft, who would you take and why? Now, again, I can't just answer this question. So I gave 3 layered answers. Okay. If we took a tight end in the 3rd, the 5th, and then that 6th, 7th combo. Okay. 3rd round, I'm going Josh Weil out of Cincinnati. And why, he asked, height, weight, speed, blocking potential. He has improved every single year. Like Josh Weil to me just screams Kyle Shanahan. You're getting a guy on the way up on one of the most tight end heavy classes. And this is a big reason why I would be okay with not taking a tight end in the 3rd round. Yes, we need a tight end. Tight end 2. But, man, there's studs in the 5th round. There's so many. My 5th round option would be Payne Durham out of Purdue. He's very different flavor, okay? He's not fast. He's slower. He's like a 4.8 guy, but he's big. He does all the dirty work. He takes the trash out. He's got to do all the grunt work. Now, he's great body control and can catch. And, yeah, he'll kind of bulldoze his way through people, but he's not your, make force and miss tackles. No. I'm going through you. I'm going to get 2 yards after contact, 4 yards after contact. He's not like a juke guy or get open in space. He's not a space guy at all. Separation's not there. But You want blocking? Check. You want tough? Check. You want somebody that can catch, jump balls in the end zone, things like that? Check, check, check. It's just, he's not doing the 60-yard touchdown thing. That's not what he's doing. You throw a 5-yard check down to him, he's going to get you 9 yards. Like, it's a consistent yards after catch. So I think he, checks the 49ers box, just a little different flavor, right? So with a blocking upside there, if that makes sense. And then 7th round option, or a 6th and 7th round option. I'm going back to Cincinnati, man. They got 2 tight ends I liked. Leonard Taylor. He was fun. Do it all. Basketball player, basketball background, and it shows on tape. It's funny because, we saw such a small glimpse of it with Jordan Reed when Shanahan brought him over on the loyalty program from Washington. And, you throw the ball to Jordan Reed, he'd catch, turn around, and he'd literally do a crossover. Like, you watch it whenever he's juking, like he does a crossover every single time, whatever. And man, I saw that in Leonard Taylor. So if you wait, you pass on the 3rd round tight ends, you get to the 5th, and the guy you were hoping was there is not there, and you get into that 6th, 7th round range, don't fret. Don't fret. There's still a lot of capable studs that are going to be available there. And so I love that. And man, this right here, Gregus Khan, that's such a beast, AVI name, solid. Double dip at both. This is what I want. If I had my draft, I was talking to my man, dude, Brian Citrado. I hope you're listening. He doesn't listen live, but I was talking to him earlier today, and we were talking about how, man, there's just certain positions, and I wish we took 2 of them. I want 2 edges. I want 2 tackles. I want 2 tight ends. That's 6 picks, right? So now, Kyle, John, you got 5 picks. Do whatever the hell you want with them. You give me 2 edges. You give me 2 tight ends. You give me 2 tackles. That's what I want. That is what I want. Now, in the past, every single time the Niners have drafted 2 of the same position, the latter pick, the one that comes after the first one, is better. Whether it's Debo and Ambry Thomas, whether it's Trey Sermon and Elijah Mitchell, whether it's, could we throw in Jordan Mason and TDP? We'll see. It's been 1 year. I'm sure there's other guys that fit this that I'm missing off the top of my head. But man, again, I want 2 edges. I want 2 tight ends. I want 2 tackles. It's like driving up in the drive-through, right? They're like, how can I get your order? And I was like, I want 2. I want 2 of all of these 3 positions. After that, have a blast. Have a blast. And so we'll kind of see how that shakes out. Now, I will say this. I want to go Philip L. on Patreon. This kind of goes into this conversation. He asked this. He says, I think it would be an interesting episode topic to discuss positional value. Okay. And, we've had Shanahan now for 7 years and John Lynch. And so I went back through and I just put the round of each position that has been drafted. Okay. So every time a corner was drafted, okay, 3rd round, 3, 5th round, 7th round, whatever, through all their drafts from 2017 to last year. I didn't count trades. So, like, for example, Trey Lance, I know you traded 3 1s and a 3, right? I just put 1. So I didn't want to go too deep into that. I just wanted to look at this is what was used at the draft for these positions. Some guys, it's kind of awkward because you draft, for example, Tarvarius Moore, right? You spent a 3rd round pick on him. He was a safety. His first 2 years were at corner. So I counted him as a corner, even though he never took 1 snap at corner. The Niners wasted his first 2 years. Then they moved him to safety. But when they drafted him in the press conference immediately afterwards, they said, oh, we're going to try him at corner. Like, that was the plan the whole time. So I'm saying these things to preface this because I know I'm going to get emails for corrections. And I love whenever you guys email me and tell me, hey, you misspoke here. Yeah, I think you meant this, but what about this? I love that stuff because I'm all about dialogue. I want to talk this stuff out and flesh it out. Sometimes I might get a little snarky if I'm answering an email late. I had 1 too many Coronas. I don't even drink Corona, but whatever. It's what it is. So here's my question to you guys, and I'm curious. I've leaked some of these things because I've been sitting on this data for a while. If you had to guess what are the 2 most drafted positions as far as just numerical positions since Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch showed up drafting a certain position, right? So like tight ends, offensive tackles, interior offensive tackles, defensive tackle, whatever. If you had to guess, what are the 2 most drafted positions since Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch showed up? I want to see you throw this in the chat because it's how often perception becomes reality. Here's what I mean by that. We've become accustomed to this idea that every single year Kyle Shanahan is taking a running back in the 3rd round. Like, it's just what's happening. Like, but you look at the data, that's not happened. It's happened back-to-back years, but that's the only time it's ever happened. His very first year, only 4 picks. He's only drafted 4 running backs. Okay? Now, here's where it gets bad. You go through those running backs, and it's just like, yikes. Joe Williams, 4th round pick. Trey Sermon, 3rd round pick. Elijah Mitchell, 6th round pick. TDP, 3rd round pick. That's it. That is the only running backs that have been drafted since they've shown up. 4. That's close to the bottom of this list. It's kind of in the middle, right? So they've used 4 picks. Again, this does not count everything that they traded for CMC. This does not count the multiple picks they traded up to get Trey Sermon. That's not what we're doing here. Greg says wide receiver running backs. We've got defensive tackle running back. Everybody running back. Josh says wide receiver at corner. That dude knows his stuff. CG says corner. That's what's up. D-end, wide receiver, interior offensive line running back. These are the guesses coming through. Ken says cornerback running back. Yeah, I mean, these are good. Yeah, you guys, y'all know your stuff. So the least drafted, which is sad I have to include this, is punter. We spent 1 4th rounder on a punter. Safety is next to last. 3 safeties have been drafted. 7th rounder, 6th rounder, 5th rounder. I can scream it from the mountaintops. This team has not shown value whatsoever in the safety position. They have not. Just haven't touched it. So, like, people talking about drafting a safety in the 3rd round, I'm like, okay, cool. People start talking about trading up for a safety, then I'm just like, I don't think that's a language that this front office speaks. I just don't see it. They do not value that position. What happened when Jimmy Ward got hurt? They went and signed a cheap dude right off the roster, plugged him in, started every game, and he was incredible. But you paid to have him come back for a year. I do think that they will draft a safety this time. But the idea, like, if I see a mock draft, and I love it when people share their mock drafts with me just because I think it's fun. You get a peek into the way people see things, and I like that. But if I see on there trading up for a safety, I'm just like, man, that ain't it, bro. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm not saying it's wrong NFL wise. I'm not saying it's wrong based on the player. I'm saying if I am, being John Malkovich, right? I'm being Kyle Shanahan. I don't think that's the way the brain works, which is weird because John Lynch, it was a damn safety. Like, right? Like, it's just weird. In this philosophy or this style of team, they don't value it. Now, does that change with Wilkes, who's had some of the best safeties in NFL history that he's coached? Will he say, like, look, guys, I know this is how you've done things. That's not what I do. I want a safety. So that's a possibility. But again, I'm just saying the idea of trading up for a safety, and I think Wayne and I disagree on this. I'll bring it up on the show on Tuesday. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I don't know. Great. Here we go. Kicker is about to get on the board. Yeah, it's possible a kicker's drafted. You don't touch one till way later. Joe, I know he's joking over here. Joe, jokey joke maker. He says, John, do you think we should draft a kicker with one of our 3rd round picks? I say, hell no. God, no. Please, no. God, no. Don't do that. Don't do that. Even if we didn't bring in Zane Gonzalez, don't do that. I do not want to do that. I am fine taking a kicker in the 6th round. It's the late 6th round pick that we have. I'd be okay with that, but still wouldn't like it. 7th round, all right. Undrafted free agent, cool. I am just not a person at all that believes in spending this capital on kicker. I'm sorry. Right here, CG says, will we draft a kicker? I'm all right. I just don't want to play with that. I don't want to play with it. Now, back to the safeties. A lot of guys I like. Quan Martin, yes. Yes. Out of Illinois. Jair Brown, yes. Hell yes. Love those guys. I think Quan will be there in the third. I don't think Jair will be there. I think he'll be gone by the time we pick. But safeties always fall, right? I labeled this 49ers Draft 101. That's what this episode's called. Safeties fall in every draft, not the 49ers draft, every draft. So we saw it last year when Nick Scott was on the board and everybody wanted him, and they didn't even draft a safety. Yeah, right here, Josh. You freaking beat that jump. Gervais Owens in the 6th or 7th. I would love that. Oh, look at this. Jartavis Martin. That's Quan Martin. Will be the best safety in this draft. He can do it all, man. Free safety, strong safety, slot, outside corner, special teams. He's good. He's good. Great. I like him. I like him. I'm glad somebody liked my Malkovich comment. That's a great movie. That's a great movie. So that's safety. Tight ends, that's next up. We spent a 5th, a 6th, and a 6th. That's it. Now, kind of, how do we say this? Fortuitous? Is that a word? Did I say it right? I went to grad school. When your first pick is George Kittle and he turns into an all-pro player in the 5th round, yeah, you don't really have to spend a lot because he's that damn good. I mean, the Niners got lucky. The Niners don't even have just one 5th round all-pro. Now you got Huff in there too. And freaking Drake Greenlaw. He should have got it last year, but that's okay. That's okay. So tight end, we'll see. Now they have been very aggressive in free agent tight ends. They tried to go after Austin Hooper. They did go after who I just referenced, Reed. They've gone after some tight ends. So this is one of those positions that Kyle loves. This draft, you're getting a tight end. Get 2. I want him to get 2. I want him to get 2. I want him to get 2. That's what I want. Now, interior offensive line, they have not cared. 2nd round, 4th round, 6th round. That's it. 2 years ago, they traded back. And again, draft 101. If a team trades up, they love them. If the team stays put, they like them. If the team trades back, they're okay with them. You see the difference there? You trade up, you love them. You stay, you like them. You trade back, you'll settle with them. Now, that was a great pick. That was a great pick, Aaron Banks. I was pissed because I wanted Creed Humphrey. Creed Humphrey's better than him for sure, but that was a great damn draft pick. That was a great pick. It was so great. Nobody even talks about Laken Tomlinson anymore, right? Like, they hit. That was a hit. Was it a home run? We'll see. But I don't give a damn. Aaron Banks is awesome. And he's going to be on this team for a long time. And that is exactly what they needed at that position. Great. Was it the best pick of all time? Did you get an all-pro player? No. But I ain't mad. Creed Humphrey, you guys all know how high I was on him. If you're new to this show, that's okay. You'll hear it referenced quite often. Quarterback comes in next. And again, this doesn't take into account the picks. We spent a 3rd, a 1st, and a 7th, right? The 3rd, CJ Beathard. 1st, Trey Lance. 7th, Brock Purdy. And I expect another one of those. I want another quarterback, but again, I don't want it to be a 3rd round pick. I don't want it to be a 5th round pick. 6th, 7th round, that's where I want the quarterback. You're looking for a camp arm with experience that's going to be around for a while on cheap contract. That's it. You already have 3 quarterbacks that are young, 22, 23, 25. That's Trey Lance, 22, Purdy, 23, Darnold, 25. But you need that 3rd camp arm. So it's going to be difficult for these guys, I think, possibly make the initial roster. But you look at week 8, 9, 10, which, again, if that's a problem, that'd be great. How are all those guys going to be on the roster at the same time? I don't know. So short-term, long-term playing with these quarterbacks, you got to make sure you can roster them. Sorry, I had to take a drink of coffee. All right, here we go. Next up, linebackers. First, we spent 3 picks on linebackers, off-ball linebackers. A 1, Reuben Foster, which was a hit, just could off-the-field stuff and then injuries. A 3rd, that's Fred Warner, all-pro, awesome. And then a 5th, Drake Greenlaw. Good Lord. Like, that's it. The rest have been undrafted free agents, but that was hit on playing the Reuben Foster thing, whatever. But, you know, gosh, man, if I was a linebacker, I would fight so hard to be on the Niners. But yeah, you're locked up. You're locked up. You're locked up. You just did Greenlaw and extension. You got all pro Fred. You're locked up. You're good. That's why I don't think you look at somebody, and you guys brought it up, Mate Mapu. I'm sure I pronounced or said it wrong. Sorry about that. But, you look at him and he's fun. Yeah, here we go. Logan, Marte Mapu, hell no, not a third round pick. I don't think he is either. I think that he's a great special teamer. Where are you going to put him? Is he a safety? Is he a linebacker? What's he going to play? Because you've got two studs. You spend a third round pick on somebody that could maybe be the linebacker 3. That's just a misuse of resources, right? But you're sitting here saying, well, he can play safety, he can play special teams. Who knows? We're going to develop him. We're going to let Drake Greenlaw walk in a handful of years, which would be a mistake in I'm a big Greenlaw guy. So, I don't know. That's why linebackers, I just don't see it. I don't see it. I could be wrong. I do like the player, though. And right here, great one. One of my favorite linebackers in this draft is Owen Popoe. I love that dude, man. But again, if you want him, you got to take him to the third. And you're talking about a guy that might get 17 snaps a game, best case. I don't like that. I don't like that. It's not me. And right here, he says he's Jimmy Ward. He's 6'3", dude. That dude is huge. He's a big old dude. So yeah. I do not like the safety from Cal too much. Daniel Scott. I mean, he is a freak. He is a traits freak. Size, intelligence, leadership, got it all. You turn on the film. Yeah, I get pissed watching his film. I'm just going to be really honest with you. But I do like him. And if you take him to the 7th round and you want to try to get him in our culture and toughen him up a little bit and whatever, cool. But at some point, man, you got to act like it matters. And it's just lackadaisical film nonstop. Now, he's a freak athlete. So even though he's going slow, not going full out all the time, he's still moving. But that would be a project for me. That would be a project. Shot J. He says, subscribe, Patreon. Let's go, baby. Love it. Check out all the extra content. Man, once we get through the draft, and this is kind of where I'm waiting at right now, is once we get these 11 players, we make some trades, 10 players, 9 players, I don't care. Patreon's going to be the jam. I'm just going to tell y'all that because I'm getting the game film. We're going to go through the games. We're going to have just so much stuff over there. And, I'll share some clips over here for sure, but we'll see there. Ooh, Brian coming in swinging. Jordan Howden is Jimmy Ward. I love it, man. I love it. All right, let's move through. We talked about running backs, interior defensive line we drafted 4 of. 6, that's DJ Jones, a 4th, a 1st, and a 6th. So the last one was we haven't seen yet because Kalia Davis was injured. Now we got him back. We'll see what happens. But those are interior defensive line. We'll see. We'll see. Offensive tackles, 1st, McGlinchey, right? Then a 6th, a 5th, and a 5th. So 4 total picks on offensive tackles. And again, that's kind of hard whenever you're going O-line, all this stuff, because if we draft guys that are tackles and put them inside. We draft guys inside, put them outside. It's very versatile in this zone scheme. Now we're down to the 3 most drafted positions. I'm going to mix up the order here. You guys tell me which one is the most drafted, okay? Most picks spent on. You've got edge, corners, and wide receivers. Which one is drafted the most? You got a 1 out of 3 chance. So I want to see who can figure this out and piece this together. And it's a lot because one of them you drafted 5 of, the other one you drafted 7 of, and then the other one you drafted 9 of. You're hitting these positions. This is where the Niners build their entire roster. All right. We will go with the 3rd place. It's edge. Those edge rushers. they spent 5 picks on a first, a 6th, a 7th, a first, and a 2nd in Drake Jackson. Yeah, I mean, they're going after it, you know what I mean? And so it's interesting, you know, you're looking at those numbers and kind of what that is and what these things fit with. It's interesting. That's all I got to say. Now, you need more edge because you lost 4. You lost 4 edge guys. So you got to replenish. And I do not think that I don't think that the 49ers, how do I say this? I don't think that the 49ers current roster, I think this is the biggest weakness, which is crazy because you have Nick Bosa, who's player of the year, defensive player of the year. But yeah, it's a need. It is a huge, huge need. That's why I want 2 of these. Second place, wide receiver. Shanahan has been on this big time. You know, you've got 8 of these: a 5th rounder, 2nd rounder, 7th rounder, 2nd, 3rd, 1st, 7th, 3rd. And you look at our roster, I think our top 6 is going to be pretty damn hard to crack, and especially whenever we only use 5 if everybody's healthy, depending on the game plan. It's going to be rough to get in there. I mean, Danny Gray's still fighting. He had 1 reception last year. 1. Now, a lot of that is Danny Gray was a slow developer. His routes were trash, man. It was about halfway through the season, it was like, God, these routes are still bad. It started to get better, get tougher. The good thing about Danny Gray is he solidified his role in special teams. That dude is great there. So not that you're like, yay, we drafted a 3rd round guy and he's just a special teamer. That's what I'm saying at all. I am saying his skill set doesn't match up with Brock Purdy. His skill set doesn't match up with Jimmy Garoppolo. His skill set matches up perfectly with Trey. And whenever you drafted him, oh, this is a match made in heaven, right? But that didn't pan out the way that you wanted it to. But Danny Gray's not going anywhere. However, there are 2 guys that are awesome. Juwan Jennings, Ray McLeod, both on expiring contracts this year. Do you sign one of them, bring them back? It's not the 40 hours way. I mean, we're comp pick gods, right? So I'm not betting on either. I think you pay Ayuk. I'm not big on the trade Ayuk thing. I'm not on that. You're paying Debo already. I don't think you're paying 3 wide receivers. I don't think you're doing that. You look at Cincinnati, the Bengals, they're going through this now. They're already paid Tyler Boyd. They're going to be paying Jamar Chase. What do they do with T. Higgins? I think T. Higgins is one of the best number 2 receivers in the NFL. So we're talking about a number 3 wide receiver, right? I think you pay the number 1 and number 2, Debo Ayuk, and I think you cycle the rest through. So I strongly think wide receiver, I could see 1 or 2 wide receivers. Now, the problem is, how the hell do they make the roster? That's the tough part. Because if you're going to cut them, then you don't want to spend those picks on them. And this wide receiver class is great in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round. Yeah. That's rough. That's rough. It's hard for me. Oh, what's up? Fat 420, appreciate you so much. Congrats on your day that you just passed. Thank you for the super chat. Really, really appreciate this. And so, yeah, I think, the wide receiver, Greg says, the wide receiver pick is a Jennings replacement. You need a Jennings replacement and you need a Ray replacement. You need 2 of those. So it's easier if you think of it this way. You need a big slot, which Shanahan loves. That's Jennings, right? And you need a backup to Debo. That's what Ray was. Remember when Debo got hurt? You put in Ray and you did the same stuff. You didn't change the playbook. You need a Debo replacement, not to replace Debo, but a backup, right? So that the offense doesn't stop and you can still have the whole playbook and all that kind of stuff. And right here, yeah, Russell says the kid out of Purdue would be an awesome slot guy. I agree. Charlie Jones is just too damn good. And he's going to fall. He's older. He's going to fall. But, man, if you could get him in that 5th round, oh, my gosh. I'm not sure how much he fits, the Shanahan prototype. But, good gosh, that dude just catches everything. That would be fun. And right here, this is a name that's, rising. Dr. Steve Brule says draft Jaden Reed and replace Ray and Jennings, get 2 birds with 1 stone. I think Jaden Reed's going to go early. He is dynamic. Right here, Trey Palmer at wide receiver. I love Trey Palmer. Trey Palmer is, guess what, Danny Gray. That's why I don't think that they would go after him. I mean, he is a deep threat, slender, speed guy. We got that for the next 3 years. We already got that. I do like Trey Palmer, though. I'm really high on Trey Palmer. But I just don't see it because we already have that type, right? What's the meme? Man, listen, we should draft Trey Palmer. Mom's like, we got Trey Palmer at home. I don't know. Did I do it right? All right. So that's right. You guys with the wonderful power of deduction. Timothy, what's up, Tim? He says cornerback is number 1 then. We ain't had a lockdown drafted in the middle in a minute. Yeah, we spent the most picks on corner. It's not close. 9 picks. Listen to this. 3rd, 5th, 6th, 3rd, 5th, 6th. They just swinging, man. They are just swinging. I don't expect it to stop. Now, our cornerback room is finally in a pretty solid place. We said this last year as well. I like our corners. I like our cornerback room. I really, really do. I mean, your starters, Demo, outside, and obviously Charvarius Ward's great. You signed Isaiah Oliver. I think those are probably your 3 starters. And 2, I'm going to keep saying this, Isaiah Oliver might be a safety, guys. He played safety last year. He played slot last year. He plays everywhere. Like, Isaiah Oliver is the new Jimmy Ward. Okay? Just that's we already got him. He can play outside, he can play slot, he can play safety. And so you put everybody else wherever you want them, and then he's just that guy. He's just there. And so if he doesn't work out, guess what? Samuel Womack. I really want Samuel Womack to start. I really do. I just think his upside's so high. But again, back to this idea of the corners. Man, you're solid, okay? If we're just looking at outside, right? Charvarius Ward, Demo, Samuel Womack, Ambry Thomas. Boom. You're looking at slot. Okay, Demo can play in the slot. Isaiah Oliver can play in the slot. Samuel Womack can play in the slot. Then you got guys like Quantrez Knight. Yeah. But I don't know if Ambry Thomas is going to be making this roster, guys. So we'll see there. But yeah, those are the positions that they've gone after. And they have just like pummeled, right? So again, just order of most picks used. Corners 1, wide receivers 2, edge 3, offensive tackles 4, interior defensive line 5, running back 6, 7 linebackers, 8 quarterbacks, 9 interior O-line, 10 tight ends, 11 safety. Barely beat out the punters, right? So guys, I can't, man, I keep saying this and I just, safety ain't a priority. It's not a priority, guys. And they're going to draft. Man, if they trade up for a safety, will everybody tag me and just call me just a jackass? Like, please, because I need that. I need that in my life because I'm so confident. If there was a prop bet out there where I could bet that the Niners don't touch safety until like the 5th round, I would bet it, man. I just would. I would. Now, let's say this. Let's jump over. I got some new, fresh draft bets. I'm going to post them on Patreon right after this, but I'm going to share a couple with you. That's right. My bookie is back, and we have a whole betting segment just for the NFL draft. If you want to bet NBA playoffs, that is available. If you want to bet draft stuff, NFL futures, we got you covered. And over on our Patreon, we released a whole bunch of draft prop bets that you can jump in right now. And the odds are changing all the time. We're going to have more and more of those released throughout our episodes and on Patreon. All you got to do is just click, if you're watching this, click on the QR code right next to me, or go to mybookie.ag, use the promo code 49ERS, 49ers.
That's going to give you the deposit bonus up to $1,000. Now, rollovers apply, and if you have any questions, please check out their website. They explain it perfectly. But these guys are trusted. They're the best in the business. We've used them for years. The partnership, we help each other out. This is a product I believe in. Any bet that I endorse, I use my own personal money for that. And it's easy to get money in, easy to get money out. No matter what you want to bet on, they've got everything over there. So head to the best in the business, and that is MyBookie, using promo code 49ERS, 49ers, for your deposit bonus. And, hey, rack up, make the draft an even better experience. You don't have to bet a lot. I don't bet a lot. A lot of my bets are $2 to $5. Make it fun and enjoyable, and that's what we're here for. Bet anything, anytime with MyBookie.
There we go. There we go. So one of my favorite just position bets out there is, again, I'm going to give you a safe and then a little bit of a gutsy one, a very gutsy one, which I'm a Tony Gwynn better. So I want small, bing, 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 and just rack up. And we've done very well with this in the past. So Tony Gwynn base hit. First player the Steelers draft will be a cornerback. It's an even bet. Bet 5, win $5, and then a swing for the fences. Bengals first player drafted to be a safety after all this safety talk. Bet $2, win 98. I mean, those odds are crazy. They lost playmaking safety. I think if a safety does go in this draft, it's going to be in the back end of the 20s. Brian Branch, somebody like that. So anyway, those are two fun bets. We've got a whole bunch over there. And Big Papa right here. This is important. I like this. He says, John used to say that the 49ers don't value corners either. May just be the timing. No, I think they do value corners, and I think I've been adamant on that. But I've also said over and over again, they have never spent a first or second round pick on a corner, right? So they draft corners in the third round 3 times. Like their approach, the 49ers approach, and man, I don't know if I have this quote from another, man, I'm scrolling back through all my draft notes. I have way too much. But anyway, here we go. Oh, here we go. This was in the Mike Sando article in The Athletic where he pulled anonymous scouts. This is a previous episode, but I just found it. Here we go. Boom, 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 boom. Yep. Quote. Here's what they say. We are going to build our defensive line, and everything else behind it can just backfill because we are just going to play coverage and get pressure with 4. In a zone concept, that's the easiest coverage for a corner. We're not looking for press corners. Well, hold on. Most of the corners we draft are press corners. We don't play them that way. But like, if you're a cornerback, we play the easiest style of cornerback play. Cover 4, cover 3. Like, it's what it is. It's what we do. So they value corners, but we've never seen them spend, a first or second round pick on corner, and we've seen 7 drafts, and it's not like our corners have been amazing, right? So maybe I have to add qualifiers to it. They value corner, but not to the extent that they've spent a first or second rounder on it. I mean, they just haven't. Now, they did pay Charvarius Ward, but that was a really friendly deal. So anyway, we'll see that. We'll see there. We'll see. Man, I got a lot more questions, but I saw Timothy in here, and I told him I was going to talk about this. He says, man, let's do this. If Washington, the Commanders, do not pick up Chase Young's 5th-year option, will the Niners make a call, do you think? Man, the whole Chase Young story just sucks. I hate it because he was great, defensive rookie of the year, and then he just hasn't been himself. He's played in 12 games in 2 years. That's it. 1.5 sacks. He just hasn't come back from the injury. He's not good anymore. I hope that changes because he was cool, man. I really liked him. And, Ron Rivera, the head coach, he recently on the radio, I don't remember the program, said they're going to wait and decide on May 2nd if they're going to pick up that 5th-year option on Chase Young. So we don't know if they're going to decline it. We don't know. But I dove in. Thank you, Timothy, for the question and for the conversation. So we've been messaging back and forth on Patreon. So here we go. Let's do the numbers. If they pick up his 5th-year option, that's $17.4 million because he made 1 Pro Bowl. So that's what he's going to get next year. That's against the cap. So if you do trade for him, okay, cap-wise, what would that look like? This year, if the 49ers traded for him, we'll talk about what it would cost. But if the 49ers traded for him, in the draft, Chase Young. You get Chase Young, Nick Bosa. How awesome would that be? He would only count $5.3 million against the 49ers this year. That's doable. Doable. Most of the trade conversations I get are like, hey, should we trade for fill in the blank? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Laramie Tunsil, right? And then I'm like, man, that would be awesome. I open up the cap numbers. Hell no, it's not possible. It's not even possible. This is possible. This is a big name, high-end draft pedigree. Numbers work. Yeah, you'd have to redo somebody. I think we're at about $2 million cap space to sign the entire current rookie class. Will only cost about $200,000 because of the rule of 51. Only the top 51 contracts count against the cap. Because we're not picking early. Because we're not picking early, they're not going to be high contracts. So that's not going to, count. That's not going to hit that, right? So yeah, you could sign him, trade for him, sign him, then restructure. But here's the question, and this is why is Washington hesitant on picking up his 5th-year option? You don't know what you're getting. You don't know. $17 million for what he has put out the past 2 years. Ooh, that is bad. Like, I'm sitting here saying the $5.3 million for what he did the last 2 years is not worth it. You're betting on the upside, Timothy, right? So I don't know. I really don't know. With what he's done, I would give up a 3rd for Chase Young. I don't think they'd take it. I don't think Washington would take it. Okay, so now we're talking, okay, cool. What would they take? Would they take our next year's 2 for Chase Young? Maybe. Probably not, because they're just like, man, we could let him play out. He hits a home run. He comes back. We keep him. We let him play out. He doesn't. We let him walk. We get a comp pick. I don't know where they are. They might not even be a comp pick recipient because of their roster. I hate Washington. Whatever. It's just, it's hard. It's just hard. Again, remember, 12 games. Last 2 years, that's it. And he's got 1.5 sacks and 3 tackles for loss. Like, it's not like he's just not close to the quarterback. He's not good. So if you do want to trade for Chase Young, the numbers work. What are you willing to pay? What are you getting? It was just that terrible ACL injury, and he just didn't come back. Sometimes it happens. Lansford Young, hell no. God, no. No. That's a big no for me. But the names are pretty cool. And so, this was and I remember, every single year, and I get them this year too. Every single year, whoever the number 1 pass rusher is, I've got them for Will Anderson. Maybe we should trade Nick Bosa to so-and-so so we can get Will Anderson. He's cheaper, and I think he's better than Bosa. I get it every time. I completely disagree with everything. Same thing happened with Chase Young. Same thing I get it, and those are fun questions, and I entertain them, and I want to play through it, and I want to see what it is, because that's fun, right? That's why we're into sports. This dude was never Bosa. He won on athleticism. Bosa wins. Again, right here, he's a technician. He has the best hands in the freaking thing. Now, he's a freak athlete with crazy work ethic and bloodlines, and just plays so freaking hard, eats, breathes, sleeps football, and weights, and protein. But they're a big difference. And so if he lost his freak athleticism, what do you got? What do you got? Because there's, okay, for example, like wide receivers or corners. Richard Sherman had such an awesome career. Why was his career able to stay as good as it was? Because he never won with speed. He was never fast to start with. Anquan Bolden, right? Why was his career what it was? Guess what? He was never fast. He had to find different ways to win. Bosa's not the most bendy whatever. Remember when we drafted Drake Jackson and they asked Bosa about him, and he says, man, I wish my body could do what his body does. Like, they're just different. They're different. Bosa wins a different way. That is a long, sustainable winning ratio. Chase Young was just freak. Now he's human. And I hate it because I like Chase Young. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what I would be willing to part with. I don't think I want to give up our 2nd rounder next year for Chase Young. Not at this stage, and not with you have to decide by May 2nd if you're going to pay him $17 million next year. That's Brandon Ayuk money. So we're giving up a second, and we might not be able to keep Ayuk. I don't know. Maybe you make the decision or somewhere else. We do need an edge. Could be a home run. Could be a dud. How much do people, if you are a person that complains about Javon Kinlaw, you need to shut the hell up on Trey. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean. But you can't talk out of both sides of your mouth, right? No, I'm not trading Chase Young for Brandon Ayuk. No. 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 Dude, 1.5 sacks, guys, in 2 years. Nah. And I agree with you. It's very similar to the Trey Lance trade stuff that I'm not too into. I think somebody, Sin right here. I love Sin. She's the best. She says, John, can you please speak on Jack Hammer's comments on Rappaport's reporting? There's a potential trade in place for Trey. Yeah, that's 1,000% speculation on speculation on speculation. I don't know Jack personally, and I'm okay. He does good work and works hard. I don't know him, and I'm okay. I 1,000% would say that is not accurate. Is there possibly a place to trade? Cool. If there is, I don't think it'd be leaked out there. Did we know we were signing Hargrave? No. Did we? I could go on, and I do this every time. Like, did we know we were signing Sam Darnold? Was that leaked out there at all? No. Did we know we were doing Hargrave? No. Everybody knew about Mac Jones at 3. That wasn't a thing. Did anybody know the 49ers were trading up to 3? No. Did anybody know we were trading to Forrest Buckner? No. Did it go on and on and on and on and on? But now we're leaking stuff to other guys out there. I don't know. Media is interesting. Media is interesting, and that's cool, and I love it. But okay, let me frame it this way. Let's play with the idea. I hate this. I don't like this because I'm speculating on speculation, and it's all dog shit. Let's say the 49ers had a trade in place for Trey Lance. They don't. But let's say they do. What good would that be to leak that out to a 49ers content creator? What's the purpose in that? What just got achieved for the 49ers organization? Why would you do that? I don't know. So I'm just going to sit there and just say, keep plugging away. And here's the thing too, clickbait reporting is not going away. And I'm not saying necessarily I want it to, just because I don't like it. Maybe that's fun and entertaining. And man, I hope they make so much money. I want everybody to make money. So let me just say this about whatever, I'm not against any content creator out there. I do not believe it. I want everybody to get paid and make money. That is so important to me, and celebrating other people's success. But that doesn't mean they're all my flavor, right? That's okay. Every time we go to the ice cream store, my wife gets freaking mint chocolate chip. That is flavored toothpaste with sugar. It is trash. And if you like that stuff, that's cool. I ain't touching it. I ain't going to eat that. I'm brushing my teeth later on tonight. I'm good. I don't need to touch that. That's the worst ice cream flavor in the history of mankind. I don't care. But my wife loves it. So guess what? I hope she gets it every time, and she is so happy. Now, I ain't touching that stuff. It's just awful. It's just, but right, not my flavor. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. But if you want to ask my opinion, I'll be honest. No, I will not eat that ice cream. I am not going to touch that at all. Greg, hey, John, what's the prop bet odds of Trey not getting traded? I haven't seen it out there, but I will be honest with you. We do bets. We made a lot of money on Trey at 3. And if that bet was out there, I would take it. Yeah, but if you find it, let me know. Yeah, I just do not see it at all. Now, and again, it's not so much because I'm a diehard trade guy. It just doesn't make sense. You lose money if you trade him. 2, why would you trade him now whenever you're unsure about Brock Purdy, right? Everybody's assuming he's going to be back great, and I hope he is. Look at Chase Young. Defensive player of the year, gets injured, comes back, nothing. Done. DUN. Why trade him now? If you trade Trey after June 1st, then it doesn't cost a cap hit. If you trade Lance after Brock Purdy comes back and you believe in Brock Purdy, cool. That makes sense. Now you have your guy, right? Does that like connect the dots logically, cap-wise, date-wise, all those things? It just makes sense. So why would you trade him now whenever you don't know and it costs you more to trade him? You got to have that draft pick right now. Well, if it's for a second, like they say it is, come on, man. We're better than this. We're better than this. And that's okay. That's okay. This has been fun. I don't want to end it on that. I don't want to end on a negative little note there. I want to end on something funny. You know, I'm going through and I'm about to do my final first round mock draft and whatever else. And again, remember, we are going to be live. Make sure you guys all come tune in for us, with us. Have a good time. Days 1 of the NFL draft will be live starting at 4:50 p.m. Day 2 at 3:50 p.m. And if you haven't yet, head over to our Patreon, put in your 5 guesses. Everybody gets 5 guesses on who the Niners will draft. The most correct wins an autographed Brandon Ayuk jersey. That's available on Patreon only. Head over there. But I put this up. You know, I'm doing these mock drafts, and I love Bijan Robinson. He's incredible. He's my number 3 overall player in this draft, running back. And I put on there, man, could you imagine if the 49ers had a first-round pick this year? And CMC makes it a little more difficult. But we talk about, like, the fear of Kyle taking another third-round running back. What if we had a first-round pick? Would Kyle want to draft Bijan Robinson? I think he would. I think he would. And so, anyway, I put up a poll on Twitter. 35% said, yeah, Kyle would draft Bijan. The rest said, no, they shouldn't. And again, it's just kind of tongue in cheek, whatever. But man, imagine if we had like a pick, you know, like at 15, I don't know, and Bijan Robinson was on the clock. That would be a lot of fun. Sid, I'm glad you're still with us. She says, yes, John. It didn't make much sense whenever I heard it. Maybe he does. Maybe he knows somebody within the organization. They leaked it to just him and nobody else run with it. It's possible. It's possible. Brian says, coming out here with the mint chip hate. I'm just saying. I love it. I love it. Let's see here. Brian, he says, remind everyone that nobody knows anything about Purdy until his June checkup. That's right. First week of June, which is 5 weeks after the draft. Why would you trade now for something you're not going to know anything about until 5 more weeks? Yeah. Seymour Butts, what's up, man? Appreciate you. Love the name. Tell Shetty to draft me some Diaby. I love me, Yaya Diaby. Traits, speed and traits. He is incredible. That's going to do it for us today. Gosh, that was a fun episode. I hope you guys had a good time. And then, man, that's going to do it for us tomorrow. Oh, I got to take my wife to the airport. She's flying out for an interview in the Bay Area. Excited. So my normal time at 10 a.m., not going to be able to go live. I will be going live afterwards. So probably around lunchtime tomorrow. We got John and Wayne Tuesday. Man, we're so close, guys. Y'all are the absolute best. Really appreciate you guys. And until next time, stay strong, faithful.